Well, hello and good day, everyone, and welcome to the Orcas in Action podcast. I'm Kevin McMenamin with Loss Prevention Magazine.
And I'm Jack Britton. I'm the editorial director here at Loss Prevention Magazine. Today we have with us Andy Ellen, who's the president and general counsel for the North Carolina Retailers Association. Andy, I understand that the Carolinas Organized Retail Crime Association has an upcoming conference. What can you tell us about it?
That's right, Jack. We are very excited on October the 12th and the 13th at the Sheraton Imperial and Research Triangle Park. The Carolina Organized Retail Crime Alliance will be hosting its 7th annual conference on organized retail crime. And it's live and in person, and we're really excited about it. Last year, we were in South Carolina for the very first time in Myrtle Beach, and back in North Carolina again this year. And we've got a great agenda lined up, some great speakers, but probably more importantly, a fantastic opportunity to network with both law enforcement and loss prevention professionals.
That sounds great, Andy. And you know, it's funny, Jack and I, for people who listen to it as a podcast, they're not going to be able to absorb this, but the folks who see it as a webcast will understand. Jack's got his Carolina blue on this morning. I got as close as I could. This camera makes it look like it's a little gray, but I promise you, this is a blue. It's a blue. Because we're showing support for the Carolinas Orca conference that you have coming up, and we're excited about the agenda that you have. You guys have some good speakers lined up, right?
We do, but before we get to that, the speakers on Wednesday night, October the 12th, we have a networking reception, sort of a welcome reception from 5 to 6:30. It's a great opportunity for people to get together the night before and just meet and talk with each other and learn from each other. You know, the next morning we kick off with registration about 7 a.m. and the program kicks off at 8 a.m. again with some great speakers and some great presenters all day long. And so happy to go through some of those if that's helpful. And like I said, we're really excited about the agenda and the lineup we put together.
Yeah, give us a couple of who are you most excited about this year?
I think we've done a really good job of sort of hitting some different places. Philip Morris International, PMI is our platinum sponsor. They're going to kick off the program with United to Safeguard America from illegal trade and do a presentation using their collective expertise on how to combat illegal trade in the Carolinas, which again, that's a new sponsor for us, new vendor, and somewhat outside the traditional retail sector. And we're really excited about that. Mid-morning, you know, we've got the Homeland Security Investigations Special Agent John Willis, who'll be joined by Amy Hicks from CVS Health to talk about, you know, ORC and how and illegal transactions in the Homeland Security arena and how it applies to retail, which again is really sort of a step beyond sometimes where we normally look at ORC. And then we're going to break into our breakout sessions, and the first one is it's North Carolina Police Department and South Carolina SLED talking about human trafficking. And so often we think of organized retail crime as a crime against property without looking at the connection to a crime against people. And human trafficking is certainly one of the ways that are one of the things that's tied into organized retail crime. And that's again, a very, very serious crime against people. So we're excited about that. We also have at the same time District Attorney Partnership and Perspective with North Carolina District Attorney Billy West, who's also, I think, the chairman of the National Association of District Attorneys, along with South Carolina Solicitor Kevin Brackett, just talking about how to better partner and present your cases to district attorneys. So that'll kick us off through the morning session.
So Andy, who can attend this particular conference?
We very much want to have people from all sides of organized retail crime and that are looking at this issue, including law enforcement, loss prevention professionals, district attorneys, magistrates, and people in those spaces, or people that just want to learn about how retail works and organized retail crime works. We are also really focused on, while we're focused a lot on chain retailers, we very much want to have independent retailers there as well, because they oftentimes are victimized by this crime, as are their customers, because they're seen as sort of low-hanging fruit by criminals.
You know, it's great that you brought that point up, Andy, because I think a lot of times we overlook that, right? And I think these conferences are a great opportunity to be so much more inclusive of even the small and mid-sized retailers and how much they can learn. You know, they don't have the resources that the larger retailers have in combating organized retail crime, but to be able to learn from the experience, be able to share their own experiences, and then in the long run, be able to work together, because the same folks that are hitting the big stores are hitting the little stores, right?
Absolutely. I think, as you said, it's an opportunity to learn about key steps and things that you can do. Some of them are very easy to do, and that may have never crossed your mind because you're not a loss prevention professional or you don't have the resources to have a loss prevention professional. And then we will pivot into this meeting with lunch, and we award the South Carolina and the North Carolina Law Enforcement Officers of the Year, as well as our Corca champions who have helped push legislation in both North and South Carolina to address organized retail crime, which is always one of the really nice things to do. Recognize especially the law enforcement officers for all they do every single day, and putting their lives on the line. And so that's one of the best parts of this conference. And we break after that in our afternoon session. Chuck Spahos, formerly from Georgia, now in North Carolina Conference of District Attorneys, and I are on a panel that I'm very excited about to talk about working together on how you can push legislation in various states, like we did in North Carolina with the passage of Senate Bill 766 this past year, a very comprehensive bill. But the partnership that Chuck and I and Elizabeth Robinson have worked through together in North Carolina, and how you can replicate that in other places, and why it's so good to work with each other. Again, that partnership piece. And then we're going to go into a second breakout session. Again, we like to have these really great general speakers, but also let people move into other places. We'll have one on cyber crimes with the South Carolina detective Bradley Whitfield, as well as another training session with United to Safeguard America, a legal trade piece. And then the closing session will be really interesting, sort of moving out into one industry sector, into a loss prevention retailers alliance, joined by LP professionals from Dick's Sporting Goods, Worldwide Golf Shops, and the PGA Superstore. Those items are really high demand, high value, and a lot of those are moving out the doors, unfortunately, and ending up on online marketplaces. So we're excited about that piece. But I think the other thing is, and we talked about networking, and we talked a minute about the independent retailer and learning. We've got some great vendors at this conference in our vendor hall, Access Communications, Defense Light, PPS, Cognify, Reveal, all giving ideas and things that retailers can do to make, to thwart criminals and try to reduce organized retail crime. And a lot of those, again, can be used by both chains and independent retailers. But I also want to thank you guys, Loss Prevention Magazine and the LP Foundation, and what you guys are doing. And we're grateful you'll be there, handing out magazines and, the scholarships that you guys are providing to this. We can't do these sort of things without you guys or without our sponsors. I mentioned earlier, Philip Morris is our platinum sponsor, gold sponsors with Lowe's Home Improvement and the Home Depot, who have really gone really aggressive in the organized retail crime space. Silver sponsor with Walgreens, and then bronze with Dick's Sporting Goods, Publix, Target, Walmart, and Wegmans. All with a really solid focus in the organized retail crime space. And we can't, again, do these conferences, educate people, educate lawmakers and elected officials like district attorneys and others, and police officers, without the ability to put this conference together. And those folks certainly, and you guys as well, help us be able to have the resources to do that.
Well, since we're wearing Carolina blue, I thought we'd go ahead and make it a little bit more fair.
As an NC State Wolfpack fan, I generally wear red, so it's rather than a shade of blue.
And I guess we should say go Gamecocks as well, right?
Well, or not. My daughter's a Clemson Tiger, so she would disagree with you. She's very much on the Tiger train rather than the Gamecock train. So
if someone would like to attend, what do they need to do?
So they can go to corca.org, corca.org. We've sent out, or email me or our staff, Jessica Yovanovich at jessicay@ncrma.org, or Elizabeth Robinson and Elizabeth R@ncrma.org. But again, corca.org is probably the easiest thing to start that process, and then reach out to us and let us help you get registered. We'd love to have you. The more people this conference we can bring in. We've had great attendance in years past, even with a blip with the virtual year in 2020. But the more people that we have there, the more we can learn from each other. And so we really invite you to do it. And the price points are very low. And again, just mainly to make sure that we can, cover the cost of the meeting space and the lunches and the breakfasts. And again, it will be a very worthwhile experience. We've generally had very good attendance from both law enforcement and retail loss prevention professionals, and so, as well as district attorneys. So we hope to see folks there.
Well, Andy, that sounds like a fantastic agenda. You've pretty much covered all the bases there. I don't know how you're going to fit that all into those couple of days, but really excited for what you guys are doing overall, the legislative efforts that you've led. This conference sounds fantastic. There's a lot going on in the Carolinas. So for everybody listening, again, it's October 12th and 13th. So go to corca.org, CORCA.org. Sign up and attend. They've got some great speakers, some great sponsors. We've got some great giveaways. We've got 5 LPCs and 5 LPQs from the Loss Prevention Foundation that are being given away. Definitely want to attend this one. So if you can fit it into your calendar, get to corca.org, sign up and register today.